For the people of India, come winter and the annual ritual begins. Citizens gasp for breath. People die. Yes, die. Children struggle to get to school. Pulmonologists' gates are flooded with those complaining of chest infections. And yet our politicians squabble, 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 literally playing with our lives. I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. On the program today, we're asking, why aren't we angrier about these images that you're seeing on your screen? How many years are we going to live like this? How many years are we going to not be shocked by the fact that 90% of India lives in areas that actually have air quality below the standard prescribed by the World Health Organization? How many years are we going to allow our politicians to get away by literally playing with the lives of all of us? An estimated 1.67 million Indians have died in 2019 from dirty air. And these are only the numbers that have been chronicled and documented. India's air crisis has, in fact, worsened instead of got better. A Kriya report actually shows that compared to 2019, when 102 cities were embattled by dirty air, today that number has gone up to above 130. And yet, as I said, the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP continue to trade charges. Arvind Kejriwal, in his early years, used to at least experiment, talk about odd and even schemes. Now, it's become a zero-sum game as he and the Union Ministry trade charges. But this isn't a story of Delhi alone. Delhi may be the worst hit, but 9 of the world's most polluted cities are in India. So why isn't this an electoral issue? Why isn't this the basis on which we vote? Why isn't this something that gets us out on the streets? We think it's in the future, but actually we're all literally losing years of our life every day that we breathe this air. Let's introduce our guest on the program today. Joining us from the BJP is Dr. Dhirendra Tayal. Dr. Tayal is with the BJP based out of Punjab. Let's bring him into the box and introduce him now. Dr. Tayal is there with us. Also joining us on the program is somebody who has battled personally with air pollution, watched his child struggle with it. It's a story of many a parent in northern India. Mr. Jayadhar Gupta, he's here with his son Arya. Good to see you, sir. Joining us is perhaps one of the busiest men in India today, and not for the right reasons, Dr. Chawla. Dr. Chawla, of course, is one of our best-known pulmonologists, chest infection specialist, and I wish that he had less of a patient load than he did today. From the Aam Aadmi Party, we are joined by its spokesperson and leader, Abhinandita Mathur. Always good to see you. And finally, a citizens' initiative, warrior moms, Bhavreen Kandhari, an environmentalist who decided that she'd had enough waiting for politicians to change. And this question we must ask of ourselves. Not just are we being passive in our anger, but some of this blame also lies with us as people, our lifestyle choices, and how much we're willing to give up or not give up for a better quality of life. So before I get the politicians in, I must ask you, Dr. Chawla, how bad is it? You're seeing this among your patients. Tell us what you're seeing.
Every year, like your program, this is the ritual as you started right in the beginning. We talk about it because these are the worst months. But I think we need to talk the whole year if we really want to avoid it. Every year, not only the patients who are suffering from the respiratory illness or cardiac or the neurological illness, they have the maximum effect of pollution. It is the common man who has never had any respiratory disease have started suffering. Now, this year we are seeing patients, the normal cough, which used to respond to the normal medications for 3-4 days, it is taking much longer. Although their lung functions appear normal, but this is the cough which it is a sort of a cough variant asthma which responds to bronchodilator given for 3 to 4 weeks. And this is, you must be hearing all around people that they are coughing for longer. When you used to get flu, it will be over in 3-4 days. It doesn't happen now. This is because there is an addition of pollution, particularly in our city, and we are loads of viral infection. First the COVID, now every winter we have influenza. So now the number of patients who have respiratory diseases, their doses are increased, they are having more problems. And of course, the new set of patients who are having the nasal discharge and the cough, the
Yeah.
number is increasing as the time is passing.
And I'm glad you've reminded us, because we act as if COVID never happened. We're already emerging from the shadows of a severe respiratory related pandemic, not confined only, of course, as it now turns out, to respiratory diseases, but one of the main symptoms of COVID, or manifestations of COVID, was the impact on the lungs. And now that is being re-assaulted, as it were, by this air. Dr. Chawla, I want to make it very clear. Dirty air kills. I think we have to say it unequivocally. It reduces lifespans, it kills, it complicates even the lives of children. Can you please elaborate on that? I think people think ये किसी और generation की लड़ाई है, ये आगे होगा. Except for those who suffer.
The problem is like if you get fever, it occurs immediately, you take treatment. Pollution is a slow kind of a poison. It is going inside your body, and people have shown the lungs of a person who's staying in a clean area like Russia or anywhere outside, and the lung of a person in Delhi, it's black. And you may not have immediate effect. If I walk on the road, I may not feel anything, but it is the years of exposure when your lung capacity, when when you have more chances of getting chronic obstructive lung disease. Now the number in the city of Delhi is increasing slowly. The efficiency which you feel is normal may not be normal. A lot of patients, they come and say that they were breathless air the moment they went outside India somewhere, and they didn't require their drugs even one puff of any inhaler. And the efficiency, our efficiency, if you go in a hilly area, or we were just hearing people going to a cleaner area, your efficiency is much more in walking, which you normally feel it is normal, but actually you are working less than your efficiency when you are exposed, because you see, you are exposed to gases every day, which is the sulfur dioxide, oxides of nitrogen, ozone, carbon monoxide, and the other products, including the suspended particles PM 2.5 and PM10. So all these, and every year this is the time when we have the maximum, and the government every year and after year this is increasing, and the government, they just make comments on the television, on these media, and then nothing has happened. And I'm telling you, the as the number of vehicles, all these parali burning this year are much more than earlier, but it is just going on. And the people, the kids, you were just saying, they're all suffering, and it is a
Yeah.
real problem. And the lifespan of a person staying in Delhi is 7 years less by estimates people have given, that you live 7 years less if you stay in a cleaner area where the pollution is not there.
Well, if that is the number that doesn't actually move us, I actually don't know what will. Let me take this to Abhinandita now. I think Dr. Chawla makes the point that every year politicians come, they come on shows like this, they make noises, they attack the other party, and actually nothing changes at all. And forget nothing changes. Data shows us it's got much worse. And I'm just staggered by this number that we live possibly 7 years less than we would if we breathed just better air. And we should be out of the streets actually holding all of you, I don't care which party, to account. If ever there was a reason for mass mobilization, it is this. Abhinandita, the Aam Aadmi Party started by really mainstreaming the issue of air pollution. Even though jokes were made about odd and even and whether it was effective, it signaled a kind of seriousness with which you were taking it. Now we don't see that gravity. We just see a kind of passing the buck between the BJP and your party. Go ahead and respond.
First of all, Barkha, I'd like to assure you and other panelists as well as our viewers, I'm not going to, defend this debate in a typical manner. I think that we should be held responsible. We are an elected government, and so should the other parties or politicians and governments be responsible. This is not the time to pass the buck or get into a blame game, because this is the air that you and I are both breathing, or all of us are breathing, and this is a national, if not a global crisis. Having said that, I think that I would like to say that we are committed to the cause. However, we need to do a lot more. There is no denying that, and we know, let's not get into a mudslinging game as well. But I think that we need to all, come together, not just at this time of the year, but and obviously the initiative has to be taken by the governments, and especially the central government. I say this because not just Delhi, we know that there are other cities that are badly impacted as well, and I think we have to be on a mission solving these problems. And however small and big, there are a number of steps that have to be taken, whether it is moving your industries to more green fuel usage, or whether it is stopping the parali problem, and or it is all the other problems. So I think that we have to come together and work on this throughout the year. What seems to be missing here is some kind of vision or leadership, which I think should come from the center. I'm not in denial of anything that we should have done more and we haven't done. I'm not saying that at all, but I think that this is the time when choking children,
Yeah.
old, elderly, everybody is looking at us, and we have to, and the prime minister really should call an emergency meeting and have better mechanism for
But when
monitoring.
you say that initiative should come from the center, and I don't deny that there needs to be a national policy to fight air pollution. But you remember those days when your party wasn't in power in Punjab, and there would be this jousting between Punjab governments and Delhi government on stubble burning, on whether that was the key issue. And by the way, experts are also divided on what factor leads to the most air pollution, and we'll come to that. But right now, it's your party in government in both of these states. We would expect this to be a kind of complete mainline priority for you.
You're right. And the way that, the people of Punjab have given us a mandate, and, the way the farmers supported us, I definitely think that, the onus is on us. We have to, come clean with this. As you know that we have formed the government only a few months ago, and
Mhm.
I'm just speaking very candidly here to say that we definitely need a more comprehensive plan. We as in the Aam Aadmi Party government as well, and I can assure you that by the time uh, in a couple of months, or we are committed to the cause, and by next year we will have a very good and impactful solution to this. I can really assure your audience this. But yes, we do need a bit more time. This has to involve stakeholders. We have to do much better in terms of implementation of the schemes. And like I'm saying, I'm speaking extremely candidly right now, more as somebody who's breathing the same air than somebody representing a political party. And we will do what needs to be done, as well as in fact today there was a note, our chief minister Bhagwant Mann ji has also said that we are going to have emergency meetings now with all stakeholders involved, including experts, so that we can work
Okay.
towards a better plan. Yes.
Okay, Dr. Dhirendratyal, let me get you in as a BJP leader. Union ministers of the BJP are calling the Indian capital a gas chamber. The point is, how is this helpful? If the Aam Aadmi Party is failing to prioritize air pollution at the center of mainstream discussion, the center is busy trying to point fingers at the Aam Aadmi Party. This is not a story of Delhi alone. 9 of the world's most polluted cities are in India. 132 cities are now below sort of national standards of acceptable air quality, right? 90% of India lives in areas that are below WHO prescribed levels of air quality. Why are we not declaring a national health emergency?
Kaji, the issue is it is good to hear from Abhinandita ji, and I appreciate the fact that she's been very candid about the whole thing, and possibly much better than what the two leaders of the party, whether it be the CM of Delhi or the CM of Punjab, have done, because they've kind of tried their best to train the guns on the center where there was nothing to do. The center, for example, has given more than 1,300 crores to Punjab. Now, where the main problem is. Now, out of that, only 300 crores have been used and 1,000 crores are lying unused. And here, what we are saying is that, if we were given money, we would do it. Now, in the manifesto, I read the manifesto, the Punjab elections, and they had said that this would be our priority and we would do this. So was it not known? I mean, it is not a matter of less time, more time. Was it not known what is happening? There's been a 35% increase. Forget about decrease. Haryana has decreased 25%. There's been a 35% increase in Punjab. Now, and the most serious increase in the home district of the chief minister. Now, these are issues you can't just sweep away and try to put the and Bhagwant Mann. I heard, I don't know, the whole his whole speech was in Punjabi, so not many would have heard it. But there he tried to put the entire blame on the central government, and Mr. Kejriwal himself, he said that I mean, I don't know. Really, it was hard to believe that he could make a statement like that the cause of pollution in Delhi is the
Okay.
hatred of farmers in the minds of the BJP. Now, come on. What are you really, I mean, really coming from somebody?
I'll allow Ambirandita a brief interjection, only brief, because I need to hear from citizens and this cannot be hijacked by politicians. Go ahead, Ambirandita.
Yeah. Couple of points. One, that I don't think that, with due respect, Mr. Tile, you have understood what Bhagwant Mann ji or Arvind Kejriwal ji are saying. What Arvind Kejriwal ji is trying to point us towards is that, one, we have to, I mean, that he was saying basically there is no point doing this blame game. The other thing that he said is that, and which is true, and I do actually stand by the statement that there is a larger agrarian crisis in the country. There are problems. The farmers are helpful and they are helpless, and they have to be. These are more serious sort of farming related issues. And what happened in the last 2 years, the way the farmers had to fight tooth and nail with the central government, which then central government have to go back because those issues are very serious, especially for the farmers of Punjab. Now we are trying to take along the farmers, and an implementation of a certain kind is taking time. There is no doubt about it. We're not running away from it. But I think it would be very weird and very rich coming from the BJP if they say that they are committed to the cause of the farmers or environment, because there's
So,
been
so,
a number of lapses in the last seven,
so, so
8 years.
can I come in here? I think for most people watching this, we are lost in the blame game between the BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party. I think for parents, for children, for citizens, and I'm stuck by Dr. Chawla's figure, and I want to go back to it again. Lifespan for those who live in the national capital could reduce by 7 years. And this, by the way, this is not a Delhi problem alone. I want to drive this again and again and again. This is a national issue. It's not that Delhi is the only polluted city. It's the most polluted city, but it's not the only polluted city at all. Now, let me actually bring in Mr. Gupta, Jaydhar Gupta, and his son Arya, and talk a little bit about what they have experienced personally. Can we actually come out of this? These are, of course, giving you a breakup of areas within the capital. Let me bring in Jay. Jay, go ahead. What was the age when your son started developing breathing problems? What did you notice? What did you do?
It was actually 2013. It was the winter of 2013. October is when I was training for a marathon, and I ended up developing bronchial asthma. And a month later, my son Arya, right here, had an asthma attack in school, and we realized that our schools are not equipped. I mean, on a day like today, when the AQI is 700 plus, children are going to school without masks. Everybody's trying to normalize an AQI of 700. Even if you mention this to anybody from the medical fraternity, from even the undeveloped part of any country, even Papua New Guinea, they will laugh at us. I mean, this is a matter of absolute shame that we have a complete lack of leadership in our country. When it comes, my other child, who's in a different school, is having a sports day and heats and whatnot on a day when the AQI is 700. Barkha, I mean, just imagine what we are doing in this city. This is the national capital. We are all educated people. How can these people even come on these panels? Where is the government? Where is the leadership? I want people to actually go, and we need to oust the sports minister. Who's the sports minister? Why the hell has he not made a statement to stop sports in North India? Who is the health minister? I know one health minister is in jail or with the ED, But do we have a health minister, a union health minister? Where is he? Why is he not going on record and making a statement? I mean, as somebody who votes here, and ma'am, you are talking and making promises that next year, your 8th year, for 7 years, you guys have been, what, stoned? Are you drunk? What have you been doing for 7 years? You're going to solve your problem in the 8th year because suddenly you're going to have an aha moment? I'm sorry, you don't have another year. You've lost me as a voter. There's nothing you can do now. You have a man who leads you as the for the Aam Aadmi Party, who's a man of science. You are telling me that, like Beijing reversed 60% of their pollution in 3 years, you've done nothing, not even 1% in 7 years. But suddenly you're going to pull out a magic wand in your 8th year. Wow, I believe you.
Jay, when you see the party squabbling, which is what is happening right now, as a parent, what do you feel?
They are playing with our health and life. This is dirty, dirty politics. This tells me that none of these people have a moral compass. They are shameless people. They don't deserve to lead my country. They don't deserve to lead my city. It's absolutely shameless. And this is the first year, after Aam Aadmi Party has won Punjab, they are behaving more and more like the BJP. I'm shocked. I mean, the apathy, up until last year, I used to feel that at least there's a sentiment in the Aam Aadmi Party. But now that they've won Punjab, I feel that all bets are off. Now it's the blind leading the blind. They're all the same. I see no difference in any of them. They're all part of the same league.
I feel your rage, and I think politicians need to be really humble right now in acknowledging this rage among citizens. And this is the question I wanted to put to the AAP, and I'll give Abhinandita a chance to respond to what you've said. I want Arya to come in with his feelings as a young man who's had to grapple and breathe this air, whose own life, found in school suddenly that there were no mechanisms in school to deal with it. Arya, what was it like for you? How is it, how is it even today?
So we shifted to India when I was around 4 years old. And ever since then, it has been wired into my brain that when it's cold outside, I cannot go play. I can't do any physical activities. I have to limit myself from exposure to the pollution outside. I get sent home from school constantly. I have to nebulize. I just started nebulizing again last night. It's not a normal lifestyle. It's not okay for you to be coughing out your lungs when you're just trying to eat dinner with your family. It's not okay to keep having to interrupt your sentences because you can't breathe. And it's not even because of something that you've done yourself. It's something that can be controlled and has been controlled in other countries that we, for some reason, aren't able to do on our own. And that is very, very disappointing to see. I'm quite proud to be an Indian, but this is quite a letdown.
Who do you feel the most disappointed by, Arya?
The people around us. It's at the end of the day, it's all of our responsibilities. We're all in this
Barkha,
together.
as a parent, I feel responsible. I mean, every day that my child goes to school in this air, I feel responsible. I go to sleep with guilt every freaking day. Every freaking day. I mean, why did I come back to this country? I mean, why did my emotions and my sentiments get the better of me, the proud Indian, stupid proud Indian? I came back to this, Barkha. Why? I still can't answer this question. I can't look my child in the eye and tell him why we came back to India. This is absolutely pathetic. And honestly, Barkha, I mean, I have fought this war as a clean air activist. This is my 8th year. And I feel like such a loser. I have not done right by my family. I have not done right by my community. We've done nothing in 8 years. Not even a 1% reversal. Pollution has only gone up. This year, 2022, let me tell you, is going to be the worst year on record. Just because of everybody's apathy. Nobody wants to deal with this problem. This Aam Aadmi Party is so secure with their, the poor vote bank that they have of giving freebies. The BJP is so secure with their Hindu votes. Nobody wants to deal with health and life. It's just something that's off their radar. They don't give a damn.
Well, what makes it all the more shocking is this is after a 2-year-long pandemic. I mean, you would think that if finally we would have learned that health actually brings countries to their knees. Health emergencies eventually hit every part of life, the economy, social structures, how offices are structured, everything. And if we still haven't learned, well, I don't even know what to say. Bhavreen, let's bring you in. You've been fighting like Jay has. Do you feel like a loser today as well? And when I say loser, I mean, you just feel like what I said on Twitter is, as an asthmatic, I feel almost disenfranchised. It's almost like kuch bhi kaho, it doesn't make a difference.
Absolutely, Barkha, and it's more than us now. When we're talking about children, and Arya here, he's my girls, the same age, and about 6 or 7 years ago, they had climbed these trees in Sarojini Nagar and Netaji Nagar so that the government won't cut them. They were there hugging trees for all day. They have done what they did. They are doing what they have to. It's not going to work until our leaders are going to be serious about what they are saying. Action has to be more than words. I don't know. I want to, say that to my co-panelist here from Aam Aadmi Party. The Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister today is talking about yoga. I mean, do we even realize that, the kind of following that the leaders have? This can be such a wrong message. Something like Jay just now said, there has to be such an important protocol on responsible sport. We should be talking about that. I mean, I don't like to compare leaders, but there's Mayor Sadiq Khan in London speaking about pollution, which is nothing as compared to India right now, and see how they're admitting and they are working towards it. And here we are just saying things and doing the wrong things, and people will follow you. So this is, I mean, is this a kind of a denial? I guess again, I mean, you admit it, but you deny it, and it can be extremely serious.
I want to ask a controversial question. Controversial means that I feel your anger. Arya spoke about nebulizing. I'm not in Delhi right now, but when I am in Delhi, I have to nebulize 3 times a day, and sometimes that doesn't take it. I have to take additional medication. But are we, as citizens, in a way also being passive? That's my controversial question. Are we also just pushing this down, into the future somewhere? Are we failing to be, ready to make, like tomorrow, if there was a diktat from governments that you can only bring your cars out or your scooters out twice a week? Now, this is where AAP's odd and even scheme failed because they weren't ready to apply it to two-wheelers. Politics got in the way. But equally, people could argue that it's the state's job to provide an efficient public transport system. The poor person has to get to work. So how do you look at the role of the citizenry in this? I think we're all super angry with the politicians, but how do we look at the role of the citizenry in this, Bhavri?
Yeah, so of course, citizens, that's one aspect of it, of being responsible citizens, and especially when it comes to children. But otherwise, Barkha, no, the onus is not on citizens. The onus is on the government to
I
take this
agree.
on. It's
I
not
agree.
acceptable. I will not, my whole family will not drive a car or forget an SUV, any car for 2 years, but we will not make that 0.00001% of the emissions that the thermal power plants are making, or the waste to energy plant that is. So this is a totally wrong narrative. Let the politicians give up their convoy of cars first. We are mostly all on public transport, whether it is or not it is. This is really this is a wrong narrative that is thrown
Okay,
on.
Jay, I think Jay is going to add to this.
Yeah.
I want to go back to Dr. Chawla and then bring the politicians back again. Jay, go ahead, Jay.
I lost my train of thought. Let's go to Dr. Chavla and I'll come back.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure. Dr. Chavla, go ahead. The point is that I feel the rage of Jay. I agree with Bhavleen. I asked the question, but the onus has to be on our lawmakers, on our governments. We can't pass the buck to the citizens and say, now go solve this air crisis yourself. But equally, if there is an intervention, then as people, one, the state has to make it palatable for lower income groups. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, then the rest of us of privilege, relative privilege, have to be ready to follow it. Dr. Chavla.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to tackle this, no government without people can solve this problem. This is such a big problem. You need the cooperation of the government and the people both together to solve this problem. The problem is that this is not a priority for any government, as you've been hearing. There are different priorities, but pollution is never a priority. Even the health is not a priority. when you were hearing Delhi is without a health minister, when there is such a, and nobody has been given responsibility, which is going to be there, and we just hear one or two comments here and there. So this has to be solved. You have to be the center has to get involved. It should be like treated, because Prime Minister himself stays in the city of Delhi. I'm sure it is affecting some way to him. He should get involved. The Chief Minister of Delhi they have to leave aside the political, form some anti-pollution task force and do stepwise solution. You can't stop all the people sitting in this panel. Most of us are using cars. We do not use the public transport. You may be using once in a while public transport, but if they provide a very good public transport and rationing of the vehicles, of course the thermal plant goes without saying. They need to control the major sources first, and then probably these rationing and permitting of the vehicles on the road. So there is, when it was COVID, the AQI even in this season was much less. So probably the vehicle have a great role to play in this. So public transport, although it's very good, we need to think about little more about this, and then only the some solution. And at personal level, we all need to use the public transport at least during this season when there is a lot of pollution
Yeah.
outside. Even 3-4 times a week, this will really help in
Okay.
decreasing the
I
pollution.
agree with you. I think we don't talk honestly enough about the role of vehicular pollution in causing at least one big factor is that. Jay, you wanted to add a point, then I'll go to Abhinandita. Jay, go ahead.
I wanted to just mention why this air pollution season is unique and
Hang on, you're on mute. Jay, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah. So again, I want to mention a little bit of nuances of this pollution season so far, and why it's been a colossal failure in terms of our government machinery. Uh, the monsoon only departed, very late. October 15th was our last day of kind of rainfall. And Diwali this year was very early. I think it was the 23rd or the 24th of October. And we had very healthy wind speeds. And we had no paddy burning going on anywhere. Just because the monsoons departed so late, all the paddy was still green. Our chief minister here of Delhi was quick to declare victory on air pollution, as if he's fixed the problem. I mean, really, that's a man of science claiming victory because of rain and wind speed. I don't know what he was thinking, but he looks like a child, and he should not be leading a city when you kind of declare premature victory. I mean, it makes him look like a chump, actually. Uh, what baffles me about this season is that even on a day like today, we've had a run up where it's moved from 300 to 400 to 500, and today we're at 7 or 800. There is no emergency measure that's kicked in. There is no announcement of school closure. There is no mask mandate. There is no health advisory to limit exposure and activity. Like, everybody's not trying to normalize an AQI of 700. I don't want to live with this. I'm sorry. I mean, you're forcing me to become a pollution refugee. Is that the goal? You want all your taxpayers to leave the state of Delhi? And I pay a lot of tax.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the member from Aam Aadmi Party who's sitting here, I pay a lot of tax. You're forcing me out of this city.
Let me bring in
the city?
let me bring in Abhinandita. Abhinandita, you can feel the anger of Bhavreen and Jay, and I think you would respect it. So let's acknowledge it, because they represent, as you said, you live in the city too. Why are politicians who live in this city not more enraged, not more anxious?
I respect their feelings right now, their thoughts. It is really a serious matter. I have people in my family who are also choking in the air, and there is no defense, like I said, for. But there is something. I mean, and again, we have to. So two things that I was thinking about when you were speaking. At least you have a chief minister who you can speak about like this. There are times when we can't even demand things from our chief minister. At least and that is not a So the way
Sorry, I'm saying Jay has been quite scathing even about the central government. He's not
yeah,
spared them.
yeah. So I'm
It's
happy that
everybody. That's the point he's making. It's everybody.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm happy that you are actually speaking these harsh words. I think all of us need to. There are a few things that come to mind, and I think that are important. One is that in Delhi, there are several steps that we have taken. Not good enough. I'm not saying good enough, but there are several steps that we have taken in the last couple of years, especially to control pollution, including even initiatives like including odd even or gadi mein signal pe gadi off on, which unfortunately this time was not been approved by the LG, but that is a separate matter. And there are other steps as well, whether it is with the smog machines, the smog control machines, and so on. Not good enough, but we are really committed to it. One is that, how did we reach here? What is this point of almost like no return that we have reached? Not just in terms of, not just, Delhi or Allahabad or, any of these places, but in general, how have we reached here? And what are we going to do as a big plan to go back? And some of it is really to, it has to come from, uh, well, the society and the governments together. I understand what you're saying. I know
But
that
why
we
isn't it a priority? Why isn't it a priority in the
well, it
way
is.
that it was when you were the newbies in politics and you reflected the voice of the citizen? You were a different Aam Aadmi Party.
It is still a priority, Barkha, and we are, going to work on this in a more serious way. It is not getting better any day, but we are committed. We are not in denial of the problem. We are also working very hard to clean the Yamuna right now, and hopefully all these results will show. I know this is not a relief for anybody who's suffering right now, and Anne is joking, but we have to have, you can't. I mean, there is really no magic wand, even with us. And you're right when you say that. So it's not that we can do something right away and, change things. But I would also not agree that we've not done anything in the last 8 years. I'm talking about Delhi.
But
Whatever
it
has been.
hasn't worked, right, Abhinandita? The data shows you pollution has worsened. Let me just bring in Dr. Tayal. I've got just a couple of minutes actually left on the program. Dr. Tayal, go ahead. Dr. Tayal.
I just want to respond to this. I mean, this is completely shirking of the responsibility. I mean, to say we don't have a magic wand, you have a magic wand, you can go out and govern. That's what you said, that we do better than anybody else. The farmer in Punjab, I come from Punjab, the farmer in Punjab is saying, I'm not getting the machines. 1,22,000 machines were given, 11,000 are missing. It is not managed. The machines are somewhere, the farmer is somewhere. That is the magic wand. Get the machines out there. Get working. I mean, don't say I don't have a magic wand. We'll do it next year.
But Dr. Tayal, this is not a crisis only for Delhi or for the NCR region. This is a crisis for the country. If we do
You
not
were saying,
start looking,
okay, yeah. Let me come to that, Barkha. Just before this, I took down what are the top cities. The top cities. Number one is Bhiwadi, Bhiwani, Noida, Sonipat, Ghaziabad, Hisar, New Delhi, Faridabad, Gurgaon, Rohtak. All
yes.
of this is the region which is affected because of Punjab. So we can't even just for the sake of balancing the program, we're not going to put it all
No,
down to
I'm
the
not.
central government.
I'm not trying to
No.
balance the program. I'm just saying it needs a national
Yeah. So
response.
if Aam Aadmi Party, if Aam
I don't
Aadmi
think the
Party,
Aam Aadmi Party. I've
if
been very tough on the Aam Aadmi Party as a citizen of Delhi. I am extremely disappointed that they have dropped the issue of air pollution from something that distinguished their politics, or so they said. But I'm just saying we need the Prime Minister to step in too. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's
absolutely.
either
Now,
or.
Swachh
I'm not
Bharat,
saying it's either or.
the Prime
Right?
Minister is extremely serious about it. Swachh Bharat was the first thing he came out with. Money has been given, machines have been given. Now it is for the government to go out and perform to get the machines to the farmers.
Okay.
But
Okay.
what does Mr. Kejriwal do? He says if the central government can't do it, they should resign.
I'm sorry,
I
I
think
have
today
to
is the
close.
day we should demand Mr. Kejriwal to resign. If he can't handle it, resign, get out. If you
Can I
can't
give them?
stand the heat, get out of the kitchen and let somebody else cook.
I would like to give this last word of this program to Arya. Bhaveen, were you wanting to add a point? I'd seen your hand go up, and then I'll give the last word to Arya today. Bhaveen, can
Yeah,
we unmute?
just 10. Yeah, thank you. 10 seconds. Speaking for both here, because what they are not doing, both the governments have become great campaigners. they are doing work of children or some kind of kiddish campaigns. The policy isn't it for the BJP panelists right now to say that the stubble burning needs certain machines is totally wrong. The whole policy of the crop being wrong. This is where the leaders have to work on good policy. They're talking of vehicles. If vehicles, you are making a city, you're designing a city for vehicles. Aam Aadmi Party is only making flyovers and underpasses and road widening, felling trees throughout the year. So this is the reason we are in this mess. Throughout the year, you have to be working on good policy. Like these other countries, you have congestion charges, emission charges, parking charges. But here is the vote bank. Nobody wants to do that. This is exactly where we are. So we will never reach anywhere, and we'll be in the same damn debates always.
I feel your cynicism. I think Dr. Chawla feels it too. I think we all feel it. I'm amazed the politicians don't feel it because they're breathing the same air at the end of the day. I really have to close. I'm really sorry. Arya, I'm going to give you the last word. The future belongs to you. The present is shit. Right, Arya?
Ma'am, I'll just end it with, they're called our leaders for a reason. If they don't lead us, then we have no hope as a nation as it is.
And I think that is the despair of a young man today. I think politicians need to understand that there is a growing rage among people. I think people need to say to ourselves, if ever there was an issue that should be top of the reason why we vote or don't vote for a political party, because unfortunately, politicians only understand the language of elections, then this is it. And this calls for a mass mobilization among people. We have to leave it there. Abhinandita, Dhirenderji, Jay and Arya, Bhavreen, Dr. Chawla, pleasure as always. Thank you to our audience. See you soon.
It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.